All right, Ed, thank you. Thank you. At last, what's your name?
My name is Kenji Fukui. I live here in Denver, and I've noticed here in the audience that there is a lot of racial anxiety. And I'd just like to say that I love you all the same, even these people sitting here in this row. I've talked to a person from Nevada that I shook his hand, and he was in the same frame of mind as these people, and I shook his hand.
Who are those people?
I guess you'd say white supremacist or the Klan. But they're people in my mind. They are human beings. And
okay, hold on. Does Sean Slater have a right to be here tonight?
Yes, he does. This is a free country. He has a right to be here just as much as I do.
Thank you, sir. All right. Ed, can we? All right, your name, sir.
I'm Reverend Leonard Edward Hamlet. I just moved from Los Angeles here. I just spent 12 years in the Tom Bradley administration, and I can say this, that if attitudes don't change, what Los Angeles experienced, Denver, Colorado is going to experience. I have a two-part question. One, and that is for the educator. Schools played an important part in eliminating, if schools are to play an important part in eliminating racial and ethnic prejudice, what plans is the school and the department making to address these issues to get it in the school systems to our young people? The second part is and that would be addressed to Mr. Rose, and I think he better handle it a lot better since he's media. The impact on the subconscious is critical to monitoring the effects of proceeding beyond color. What role is or should KUSA, this station, and others in the print and electronic media doing to promote harmony between our diverse ethnicities?
All right, let's take the responses in that order. Dr. Thomas.
Education is doing a lot. I don't know that it can do as much as needs to be done. Having integrated faculties, integrated classes, teaching cultural diversity so students feel comfortable with each other's cultures, having all students learn something about the history of races other than their own so that they can appreciate and value each other is all very helpful. Maintaining harmonious relationships so that people form friendships. I don't believe that the racial problem can basically be solved on a one-to-one basis. That takes too long, and we don't have that much time. But it is one of the things that must be going on while we are trying to make broad societal changes, so that we must have integrated housing, for example. In Denver, we've had a great deal of trouble with busing and its effects, and most people are disaffected as far as busing is concerned. But unless we have integrated neighborhoods, we're never going to bring all of our children together so that they know each other as people. We've got to have excellent teachers so that people have some faith in their education, what it can do for them.
Mike Rosen, the second half of the question.
Regarding the question about the media, certain programs in the media entertain, others inform. On the entertainment side, you don't have any sitcoms about a KKK family, but you've got plenty of sitcoms that promote the kind of progressive ideas we're talking about today. And when you look at news programs, Jesse Jackson, for example, is a lot more popular and well received in the mainstream media than Sean Slater would be. I think there's an interesting contrast there. Let me make one point, though. I'm not going to get a lot of applause with the things I say in this audience. These are people who want to hear the same old platitudes that they've been hearing for years. Fine, if it's a pep session and a therapy session, I hope you go away happy. You didn't ask for my advice, but I'll give you some anyway. There's an awful lot of pressure being brought by minorities in this society to force society as a whole to accommodate their situation. Whether we're talking about, just hear me out.
Hold on, please. Hear him out, as he said.
You hear this stuff all the time. Listen to something else for once. I really have your best interests at heart, I think. If you want to reject the advice, reject it. It doesn't cost you anything. The point I'm making is, you can talk until you're blue in the face, demanding that this society accommodates itself to you. You can ask for bilingual education programs. You can ask for race norming. You can ask for culturally oriented IQ tests. You can ask for that. But the fact remains, in the marketplace, there are people out there looking for qualified, educated people to hire. And the sooner you accommodate yourself to this society, its perfections and imperfections, the better off you'll be.
Mike, where I sit, you know what? One of the
Rabbi Foster.
Yeah. One of the yarmulkes that I wear is the Civil Rights Commission, just as Gwen does. And I want to tell you something, Mike. You're absolutely wrong. There are plenty of people out there who are not interested in giving people a fair chance. They are interested in one thing and one thing only: giving the people that they want, white people that they want, straight people that they want, married people with children that they want, fundamentalist Christian children, fundamentalist Christians that they want. There are people out in this society who are saying, you better do what I want, and there is no such thing as accommodating black people and brown people and Native Americans. Now, you might say that that's what those people want to hear, but I want to tell you from where I sit, there's plenty of racism, there's plenty of discrimination, job discrimination and housing discrimination in this state.
Is there a legal force? If what you say is true, does legal force need to be brought to bear, or is there some voluntary way of achieving this accommodation that you're talking about?
I honestly believe that we have to have both, but that's what I believe. If we don't have laws, if we just say to the people in this country, there are no laws and you can discriminate at will, believe me, the people who have it will discriminate.
But there are laws, and you're looking at the part of the glass that's half empty, and you're ignoring the rest of the glass. Yes, there are people like that out there. There always have been.
Hold on, just a minute.
We've agreed on that.
Wait, I want to do this. I want to do this.
Hold on.
No.
And there are more of them today than there ever have been before.
No. I've noticed something, Sardella. I don't know if it's because of what I have on, but I've noticed how you very cleverly chose to ask certain people questions, and you've stayed away from me. And I didn't come here to be polite and just go along with the stuff. Okay,
you have the floor. Go right ahead.
All right, so what I'm saying is this. The term minority is interesting. See, that gives the impression that people of color, who are the majority of the planet, you see the game that's trying to be played on us? They're trying to say you're a minority, yet America is getting involved in international business, aren't they? So why would any of us sit in the audience and think of ourselves as a minority instead of the majority that we really are? The minority in the world is people who classify themselves as white.
Take that the next step. Now what?
Well, what I'm saying is that once you take that step, you psychologically remove yourself from the prison of thinking that people in this country who are classified as white are the majority. That's a lie. They are the minority.
All right,
then you move. Then you're talking about real education. You're not just talking about going into a classroom and having, as that young man said, you're being taught some stuff from textbooks that are about primarily white people.
Okay. My question is, though, let's assume that you're right. Let's assume that
I am
you're
right.
All right. You are right.
I am right.
All right. So what does the majority need to do now to make the change that you're talking about? And why isn't the majority?
They're doing it.
Okay.
They're
Expand on that.
Well, what you see happening around the world, you're seeing people of color saying, no more. No more. And the things that you say, you know, I don't particularly like to see violence occur. I mean, I've been hit and so forth, and I didn't like it. But what I'm saying is that what you're seeing in the world, you're seeing people strike out. They're striking out either by the words that they say to people, or if necessary, as Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. They're utilizing the thing that people of color in this country are utilizing. One of the things that we've had expert teachers about. White people have been expert about teaching us about violence. Been excellent teachers. So we have, some of us have turned out to be excellent students about that. And now there's a concern about it. What I'm saying is that, and I'm going back this again, I believe that people who are classified as white don't deep down inside feel very, very good about themselves. And until they do, until they say, hey, I am what I am and I love me, they're always going to be trying to set up these kinds of mechanisms and say, these artificial things and say, well, you don't have the education that I have, so therefore you're not as good as I am. See, that's artificial. So I say, until you begin to, and I'm not talking about you personally, although it might apply to you personally, until you really start digging into yourself and find out who you are and loving yourself, it's going to keep on going on, and you can expect what's happening.
All right, we'll get back to more questions from the audience in just a minute. We have to take a break. We'll be right back.
When you use the U.S. West Direct Yellow Pages, you can accomplish almost anything.
Yeah, we're taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. Taking care of business, it's all right. Taking care of business, working overtime, work out.
When there's work to be done, this is the one that gets used. U.S. West Direct.
From the very beginning, RE/MAX set out to attract real estate's most experienced salespeople. That's just what we've done. Today, across North America, RE/MAX sales associates average twice as much experience as other agents and 3 times as many sales. Find out what experience can do for you. Call RE/MAX. It's the experience.
Your dreams, your big ideas, you want them all to come true. But can you depend on your bank to really help you through? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You give your all in all that you do. But can you depend on your bank to do the same for you? Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I think that basically human nature is very positive, very generous, and that in general, if people have enough information to be able to sort out what's right and what's wrong, people will make the right decision.
Our discussion is on racism in Denver and in Colorado. Let's go back down to the audience. Ken Hemlin has another question.
Thank you, Ed. I've got a couple of questions myself, but we've got a lot of people backlogged here. Your name?
Name is Ruben Harrell. I had a problem earlier on this show with the semantics, with the terms racism and racist. And I wanted to first thank the good father for clearing that up and not acknowledging that the backdrop to your panel there is a little bit insensitive. And as far as racism and racist behavior, I really think like it is taught that it can be unlearned, how to be identified in the school system. I really think that it can be, that we can improve our educational system, teach children to be culturally sensitive to cultures different from themselves, not only to respect themselves, but to other people. So I think that that's something that we're failing at. But a couple of questions. First of all,
One question.
The one thing I want to say that I got out of the whole LA riots, and I think that's a big reason why a lot of us are here, is that there were a lot of black businesses burned in those riots too. And a lot of people don't know, may not realize it, but the black economy in this country is $500 billion. That's our consumer purchasing power. We have the 7th largest economy in the world. So the question in my mind is, am I my brother's keeper? And what is it that I'm doing, and because I'm doing fairly well, what is it that I am doing to help brothers out in the inner city? And I'd like to have some of the people on the panel.
All right, before we go back to them, we want to get to some other people as well. Thank you. Ed, I have a question, please. Racism, it hurts my feelings. Get the Jews, get the niggers, get the Mexicans, get. Hold on. Obviously, that's an offensive remark, and I have a question for everyone. We've been talking about racism. Talk to me.
I am not racist, but I worked so hard for my education, and I know who I am. But I know who I am. I'm working hard. I worked every year. My parents are from a middle-class home. I haven't had things, you know, things haven't been dealt out to me. I've worked very hard for what I have.
What hurt you tonight?
Well, that he was about the thing that as being white don't know what they want and they don't know who they are.
That was racist.
That's racism.
All right, thank you. Thank you. We'll get back to you. Thank you. Go ahead, sir. Your name.
My name is Earl. I feel racism is something by choice, something you select when your self-conscious has no other way to follow. I mean, if you look at that board up there, what you see is someone else's form of racism. I don't see that where building inspectors work. I don't see any kind of rubbish looking like that. And the reason why you don't see it like that is because the building inspectors are where the money is. They are nowhere else in our community. They launch all the dirty laundry of the drugs and the corruption in our neighborhood, and what they do to us is give us a chance to somehow be businessmen for, what, 2 years, go to jail, pay commissary?
Question.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
White people, mean white people, bring the drugs in. Why do we keep using it?
Because the DEA is what color? They say, for one, who is the first person that's busting you? When you're getting busted in your neighborhood, it's not the same people that's snitching on you.
Wait a minute, you're not answering my question. It's a white racist plot. White people bring the drugs in. You know it.
Why brings it in?
But why do we keep using it?
The government has access to all agricultural things brought in America. How is it no other businessman can bring anything in?
One more time, calm down. I'll ask you the question again. A white racist plot to make us use the drugs. We know it. We're talking about it. Why do we keep using it?
We're broke. Look at that. We're broke. We don't have any money.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Without
Ken?
education, you are a slave all over again.
All right, thank you, sir. Your name?
Yeah, Louis Landa. I just wanted to get off the speeches and ask real quick. Obviously, this gentleman doesn't feel that the system has worked for him. Neither did the gentleman over here about the education, saying he wasn't getting a very good education. He's saying the system doesn't work for him. What we need to do is ask ourselves, how do we convince each other that the system either is or is not working? And if it is not working, how do we change it to work for ourselves? The system, now wait a minute, the system didn't work for me in my education. I got a terrible education from 1st through 12th grade, but I've been able to work around that. It's taken me a long time. I'm 30 years old and I still don't have a
We have
college
your
degree, but I'm
question.
working on it.
We have your question. Let's
Thank
get
you.
an answer.
Thank
Father
you.
Gurley, you want to take that on?
It's real simple to see whether...
Hold on, folks. Hold on, please.
Hang in there.
It's very simple to discover whether or not the system's working. By the fruits you shall know them. If the system doesn't produce fruits across the board for all members of the society, then the system may be working very effectively for some, but it's very obvious to anyone who has eyes to see and ears to hear that it's not working at all for a great number of people.
I have been wanting all evening to say something to those white persons in the audience who are feeling uncomfortable about accusations of racism. And this is what I want to start with, is that every day you don't have to think about being white. You can take it for granted. And there is a distinct difference between being white in this society and being a person of color. There's a distinct inconvenience about being a person of color in this society. And one of the things that one has to put up with is the arrogance of white people who take credit for everything that is worthwhile in American society and suggest that those of us who are people of color don't have sense enough to take advantage of it. Hell, we created it.
Mike Rosen.
A lot of anger here and a lot of exaggerations and a lot of only looking at the bad things and not looking at the good things. There is...
Hold on, folks. Please, let's be polite to the speakers.
Shame on me for having a different viewpoint. Shame on Tom Sowell and Walter Williams and Shelby Steele and other black people of goodwill who have a different viewpoint. Shame on all of them. We should all march lockstep. Let me tell you something. Well, I'm not surprised to hear that. You're very tolerant. There is no more one condition of blackness than there is one condition of whiteness. The system works better for some people than for others. It's interesting to note that from 1983 to 1989, Black families, married families with children, had their income grow faster than their white counterparts. The same cannot be said of black broken families. 20 years ago, 1 out of 5 black children were born out of wedlock. Today, more than half of black children are born out of wedlock. There you have a large part of the problem.
Over here, Ed. Over here. All right. What's your name?
Hold on, folks.
All right. Hold on, please.
Hold on.
What's your name?
We have about 10 minutes to go, and we're accomplishing our goal here, and let's see if we can make it, okay?
All right.
Let's have some civility and politeness, please.
Thank
Ken.
you, Ed. Your name?
Hi.
All right. Please, please. Go ahead.
My name is Kathleen Meary, and I have a brief statement and a question for the producers. In 1993, the United Nations has dedicated the year to the International Year of the Indigenous People in recognition that racism is a problem facing Indian people on both a domestic and an international level. And I too applaud Channel 9 for the panel and the group of people that you have gathered together. But the Indian leaders in this community have been instrumental in this struggle to go beyond color every year, in particularly in the fight against the celebration of racist holidays. Therefore, I would like to ask, first of all, whether or not Channel 9 invited any members of the Indian community to participate, and if not, I would like you to explain why not.
Well, let me respond to that question. You have seen the difficulties here this evening with a panel of 7 people, and all of you wanting to be heard. And the major question that we face in that is how many people are we going to put microphones on and still end up with some sort of an organized, civilized discussion? I can tell you this. I am not privy to who was and who was not invited to this, but I can tell you 2 things. Number one is that with all of the turmoil that we've had in the last 24 hours, we have had about 16 panelists to get 7 here tonight. And secondly, the second question is that we are going to do very soon another program very similar to this. And I will guarantee you that a Native American will be on that panel or I will not be here.
Thank you. All right. Your name?
I think one point that I would like to make is that if we sit back and we look at the surge of the racist groups that have come up, you know, quite recently, like the Ku Klux Klan and the Aryan Nation, one reason why there's been such a surge within the last few years is because I feel that they fear the potential and the power of Hispanics and blacks to lead this country just the same way or better than they are leading this country today. And minorities are oppressed. That's the point I wanted to make.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
My name's Keith, and my first statement is going to be addressed to that guy on this side. What's his name?
Mike Rosen.
Oh, Mike Rosen, the conservative guy. The wizard, yeah. What I want to say to him, first of all, he said that we must assimilate to fit in his mold. Look where the American Indian is right now. They die at 32, at the age 32. That's the life expectancy of an Indian male. They also have the highest percentage of mortality in all the races.
Okay, but what are you going to do?
That's my first statement. Second thing is, my question also to Mike Rosen is, have you ever been arrested for any kind of suggestion that you've been stealing something or even been a suspect for something? When we are minorities, we walk through our own city, a cop will stop us and ask us questions. Where are you going? What are you doing? What are you up to? What do you have in your hand? What are you trying to take? You stealing something? No. That's exactly what happened. So I want to know, has that happened to you, Mike Rosen?
Right. Mike?
Thank you.
I'll answer the second.
A question has been directed to Mike specifically, so let's let him answer it, please.
I'll answer the second question first. No, I've never been arrested for stealing anything, and I've never stolen anything as an adult, so perhaps I've been lucky.
Hold on.
And no, I haven't been picked up on suspicion because of my color, and I understand that that kind of thing happens, and I don't applaud that kind of thing, obviously. But to address your first question, please don't misstate my comment. I'm not saying that you've got to kowtow to white society. I am recognizing that there are some realities of this society in which we live. There are some very nice things that have been said today, and perhaps in 10 years or 20 or 50 years, the world will be a nicer place. But don't sit around and wait for it. Tomorrow, you'll be looking for a job. And in order to get a job, you're going to have the qualifications that this society demands. Do yourself a favor. Recognize what those qualifications are and get them now while you're waiting.
All right, thank you. What's your name?
My name is Noel, and I attended school in California. And my point is this. The whole education system is just jacked up because white people are running it, and it's not just the education system, because I got a fucked up education.
Come on now. No. Unacceptable. We're going to move along.
All right. Go ahead,
you, sir. All right,
Dr. Hennessy.
hold on. Hold on.
Ken, hold on. Ken, hold on just a minute.
What's your name?
My name is Robert Simmons, and
Go ahead.
my name is Robert Simmons, and I work with the alternative press on campuses. And two things I'd like to say is, if Martin Luther King were alive during the LA riots, he would have been in tears. That was despicable. That is not a way to solve the problem. The way to solve the problem is to love each other and to shake each other's hands, not to yell at each other.
Thank you. What's your name?
Jared Arnold. We don't want love, we don't want accommodations, we want justice. The solution to the problem is to take those officers that beat Rodney King and put them in jail, just like they want to take the black men who beat Reginald Denny and put them in jail.
Thank you. What's your name?
Cindy Lawson, and I think it's about time that the media took some responsibility in its role in promoting racism. The KKK and Sean Slater in the last year has had 67 articles, a minimum of 67 articles written about them. They've been on front page a minimum of 8 times. Rocky Mountain News journalist Mark Brown, he stated, a year ago, Slater's organization was barely surviving, but a series of highly publicized rallies appears to have brought in a few new members.
Thank you. All right, hold on. Let's get back over here. Yes.
Last one. We're out of time.
All right, final one. I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah, Jan Scott, drug fighter. I'm going to say something I think that a lot of you are not going to like, but I'm going to tell you. I live in a predominantly white community, and on my street are 4 drug dealers, all right? 2 of them are white, 2 of them are black. What I do is I go out to the drug dealers in the community, and I say, don't deal drugs in my neighborhood. And I try to clean up my neighborhood, and we all have to do that. Black and Hispanic people have got to take their streets back. There are 500 people here tonight. You need to be out in the streets every night, taking them back.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. All right, can I get the microphone?
Say it, brother. Come on.
All right, what you need to understand is that, this country is built on racism. Hey, put that down a little bit. This country is built on racism. What you got to understand is from the time this country was built, Americans were shedding blood of anybody that was not white. They shed the bloods of the Americans, of the Indians just to get this country. Then they brought black people over here just to do, their little dirty work. Then they got Mexicans and they put them out and they killed them, So how are you going to try and tell me that I need to go by this system, that I need to do what you want me to do?
I'm going to have to stop you. We're out of time. Ken, we're entirely out of time. We got to stop. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I do want to tell you again, though, that we have decided that we will have another program of this kind of a discussion, and we will announce the date. It'll be very soon. We had no illusion about solving the problem in these